Hello there, cherished souls. How are you? This thing was lit up until I started to talk. It was clear as can be. And then as soon as I started to talk, now we have some shadows. Anyway, well, hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Building Lives 101. And that's the goal here is to help everyone to expand and to build their spiritual life. Not just you. If you build your spiritual life, then you are building not only your life, but all the life around you. So it's building lives, all of our lives, 101. Because each and every one of us play a part. And so if one play a part and then another play a part, we are changing the narrative of this world. And we're building our lives the way that we want it to go. Now, before I move on into the topic, which is how about that we're all selling our souls and we don't even know it. So, um, we do this every day, every day. Before I move on, though, I please ask you to to share, like, and share with love if you find this content in any way useful, um, beneficial to you. It costs you nothing. And to share and like and subscribe. And in doing so, you are playing a part in getting the word out, in changing the narrative. Okay? And I'm going to keep on talking about this. I'm going to keep on talking about it until some people start to actually get a hold of this, and not just get a hold of it by hearing, but by doing it. You know? Okay, so how are we selling our soul? Again, I've talked about how we separate ourself. I'm doing this at work. I'm on break, and I had some scriptures, and I'll probably do a part two to this because this is so important for me. And I think it's very important, not just for me, but to everyone to know, because we really need to step things up to the next level in our expansion and grow, so that we can grow spiritually and so that we can raise a vibration around in this world. Okay, so there is a thing that says, and I don't even know if this is going to last here, because I noticed that there are certain topics that they don't like. And one of them is when you start talking about that we don't need money, okay? And how money corrupt, or whatever the case might be. And they have done a really, really good job in exploiting the narrative that you need money, or money has energy and it's good, and all this kind of stuff, to and then the whole thing with the manifestation, and now you have people focusing solely on themselves. Okay. And so this is this was planned. They know this was coming. Okay. And they want people to start focusing on on other things outside of them, rather than what's inside. Things outside of them rather than what's inside of them. Okay. Because when you do, you expand. You expand to a total different level. And I, I, I can talk on this because I have been there. Okay. And I'm still there in a way. And what I mean, and I'll explain that in a way. Okay, but I want to stay mostly on the topic, and on the topic is, how do we sell our soul? Money. Money. A lot of us say, celebrities, they'll do anything to sell their soul, but that's on a larger scale. That's on a larger scale because they take part in a lot of these things that we would be like, oh my God. But if we were in their place and we wanted that, who's to say that we wouldn't, you know, uh, well, some of us wouldn't. And there are some people who haven't. And because of that, their career has been ruined or they've been banned from Hollywood. But what about in our daily lives? Are we not also selling out ourselves for money? You have a job. There are people working, okay? And you have managers, and there are people that will do anything to get promoted. Okay? They will do anything. They will go against their ethics, their everything to get promoted. That is selling your soul. Okay? And these same people get up, you know, on Sundays, and they go to church, and you know, they're relatively successful, but there's a lot of things that they do that is not in alignment with God, which is totally out of love. You have to think love. That's it. Love. Whatever you're doing, is this in love? If you are selling a product and you know that you know, you feel uncomfortable about it, because some people do that. They sell stuff. They know that it's not whether it's good. They don't care whether it's good or not. They just care about the money that they rolled in. I see this on, you know, social media with people that they don't care what they're pushing. They don't care what they're peddling, and they would. This is all, and that lowers your vibration when you compromise yourself to do things, and it's all about the money. Then you've compromised yourself, and then you have sold yourself. You've sold your soul. Okay, so money. When we get up in the morning and everything is about working, 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 and people will say, "Well, how do I, you know, how do I live my life?" And and work. How do I live for God, if you want to put it that way, or live the righteous life? And then, you know, but that should tell you something. That should tell you how this world is. Because if you can't live a righteous life and work in a profession, and then that should raise a red flag that what we're all doing here is not right. Okay? So I'm a licensed realtor. And I still have my license, and I still work, just not as much as I used to. And I did it full time. I don't anymore, but I did it full time. And do I still want to do real estate? Yes, just not in the way that I used to do it before. Not in the way that I used to do it before, because there's some stuff that I found out and have come to know that by still doing real estate, I'm participating in what I know to be wrong, like mortgages. I now learned that a lot of our mortgages are so fraudulent. Okay, and that's another topic. I don't want to go into that, and you guys know. And I've looked at it to see that, yeah, this makes really, really, really good sense. And why it is fraudulent, which that's another story. And a lot of people do not believe this when we tell them. So that kind of put us at, because I was doing really, really good in real estate until my mom passed. We were doing it together. I think I mentioned this. And then I had to give my book away. But when it was time for me to come back, even before I left, I became very spiritual. And so when I came back, it was just not something that I really wanted to do so much anymore. Not in that capacity, because I live and breathe real estate. Everything I did was about real estate. My trips that I made, I didn't really have normal vacation. A lot of my trips that I make when I go on seminars or conference and stuff like that, that was kind of like my vacation. I would go on these, these places, these trips, but it was all about real estate. It was all about real estate. And I work 7 days a week. And before I went into real estate, I used to honor my Sabbath. I used to honor my Sabbath, but we had to work on Saturdays. And I gave that up. I gave that up. And the same when you pull away from God, that he will pull away from you. And sure enough, things started to go downhill for me. I started drinking again, partying again like crazy. I mixed it in with the real estate life and hanging out, and I became just like everybody else. And slowly, even though I had my mom, but business was really not as 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 much as it used to be when I first started, and I was, closer with God. And I saw that, boop, just tapered off. Okay. So when somebody said to me, God's children or God's chosen ones, uh, because they're the ones that are suffering the most, because God will correct you. God corrects his children. Okay? You're not going to go ahead and correct somebody else's. And not to say, okay, hear me now. Not to say all these other people out there is not God's children. That's a different story. I don't even want to tap on that right now because, see, not everyone is here for the same reason. Some people are here for a lesson to graduate. Some people are not here for that. They're just playing a role. They're just participating in this. And the best way that I can explain what I mean by that, there is a guy who actually, I saw him, I think it was a guy. Yeah, it was a guy. And I saw him on one of these near death experience show. And he was expressing how he had an accident, a car accident, and his wife, no, yeah, his son was alive, but his wife died, and she was in the front seat. And I think the way that she was relaxing, because she was laid back, and she was in her seat, but the way she was laid back caused her to die. And he said that when he had passed over, I'm not sure if it was after or during the same time when she passed over and they kind of saw each other then, I think it was. And she said to him that I came here to play this role. Pretty much that's kind of like what she said, so that you can have this experience. Okay, the experience that was, if you want to say, that was his, when he wrote out everything before he came here, that was his experience. And so there, a lot of people came into this world with him to fulfill that experience. So all the people that he interacted are there for him to fulfill that experience. So that's what I mean, that there's some people here for a definite reason. We're all God's children, and there's some of us that are here that have made this plan out to be here, and some are just playing a role. But we're all spirit. We're all, and for those people that comes here just to play out a role, not all of their souls are here. I mean, maybe just a teeny tiny bit, and you can call those people soulless. It's mostly their spirit that are here. Okay, because they didn't come for the same advanced expansion that the other souls, for the souls that did. Okay, I hope that's all making sense too. I am doing my best to explain this in my capacity, in my vocabulary, limited vocabulary, you know. Okay, so, and I might be going off a little bit here, so let me come back. So when we go ahead, you know, so I don't want to say that we are not one. Like, I think that's why I went off on that. We and that we don't have souls and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to clear that up, and I hope that cleared it up for a lot of people. Okay, now it is very important. So for people who are the chosen ones, the ones that came here to actually learn, the ones that came here for a reason, to experience certain things, those people will be corrected. Those people will be corrected, yes, and they will go through certain things. That's why certain people will expand. And can we do that? But yes, the whole idea is for us to be able to, this is why you don't get jealous of other people. You don't get jealous of whatever anybody is doing. You don't. Okay? Now, if a large percentage of people who are chosen people, if you say that, or people with souls, start to now vibrate, take control, and change the narrative, okay, then the people that are here, just as you want to say, as a support, okay, system to let certain things happen, they will have no choice but to kind of resonate on that vibration. This is why it's important that we take the initiative and change the narrative. And so therefore, when you a lot of you people probably thinking I am so mixed up and probably I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm telling you, this is the way to go. We are, how do I explain this? Okay, there is I'm in sales, so I still listen to a lot of sales meetings and stuff like that. And there was this one guy, he was doing a sales thing. I don't remember what it was about. But I think it has to do with us organizing our time and you know, and setting an example. So anyway, so he said that there was a research that was done where they took rats that were strong. I mean, it took rats, one that had like a really strong heart rate, and they put them in with another one, so other ones that were a little, their heartbeat. So the moral of the story is that the ones with the slower heart rate would start to beat according to the one that had a faster heart rate. A faster heart rate. Does that make sense? And I forgot the other part of the research, what they did, but pretty much if you are a melanin people, and this is why it's so important for melanin people, and this is why you are constantly being attacked. This is why you are constantly being attacked, and you are constantly being, because if they can keep your vibration down, and if they can keep you from raising your vibration and actually changing the narrative, this is why they use black people to actually change the narrative, you know, to do certain, because if you notice that everybody else follows along, okay, playing hip-hop, whatever, everybody else follows along, rap, everybody else follows along, wearing their pants all the way down. I remember when they were making fun of them, and they were called, now everybody is doing it, Spanish, white, you name it, they're all wearing their pants all the way down on their ass. Okay, still mostly a lot of white people, black people are doing that, but they're all doing it. Okay, more so still black now. I think the trend is kind of worn off a little bit, but you still have a lot of black people, kids, young men that are doing that, which I think eventually they'll actually stop doing that. Okay, um, wearing, what do you call it there? Those flip flops, and wearing the socks. You remember? Oh my god. So there's so many things that they started to do that everybody else is starting to do. And that's what I'm talking about, changing the narrative. You don't know the power that you have because you are, and I hate, please don't hate me for saying this, the dominant species because of your melanin. Okay, this is why it's important for you to change. Change the narrative. So if we start to change the narrative on Facebook, on YouTube, and all of these channels, and start to talk about things that are meaningful, things that are regarding to health, things that are regarding to making our lives better. And those are the things that we start to focus on and click instead of talking about stupid stuff that are absolutely meaningless, and making it, I can run with everybody else and I can post stuff about what's going on in Africa, what's going on with, which I've touched on a little bit, but very sparingly. But and do better in raising my my likes, and raising my views. But then I would be no better, and I would be no better than anybody else. So I don't want to. So that's not the role that I would like to go down. I would like to do this and get real generic audience that are really interested in building their lives, their spiritual life, and growing spiritually. Okay, so I want you to really, really, I would like to really, think about. I'm hoping that you will have, take this as fruit for thoughts. That and look at what I'm saying. I'm gonna make a video where I'm whenever I get the chance to edit. I mean, because when you have to sit down and try to edit stuff, it really does take a lot. And I work a lot. I really actually do. But I do find time to still meditate. I still find time to in the morning, early in the morning. I'm up a lot of the times at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm meditating. One of the things that I really need to start doing, which I do, but not as much, is to start exercising. And I would start and stop and start. So I'm kind of lacking in that area right now where I need to start exercising more because I can feel, my body, not just my body, but I'm getting that nudge, spiritual nudge. You need to work out. And for a lot of reasons, because when you work out, it's good for your brain. It's good for your hair. The blood flow is so important in your body that you know, it's like drinking water. We're supposed to drink running water that is running. And that's why they totally mess up our rivers and stuff like that, because we're supposed to be drinking running, flowing water. It's not supposed to be stagnant. It's not supposed to be just sitting around. um and I believe that's why if you see a lot of these water thing that has it's always moving. They have it moving because it's supposed to be moving. It shouldn't be stagnant. So in your body, it's the same way. You've got to get your blood flow moving. And by the way that you get that moving is by exercising. Um, okay. And it does so much for you. That's all I can say. It does so much for you. Um, and I can go in that even more. But I don't want to make this long because I'm just taking a little break. And I'm at one of my jobs. I feel like I work like 3, 4 jobs. Um, but anyway, so guys, I'm not just talking about you guys, I'm talking about myself as well, even though I do make a conscious effort to slow down and to meditate and to observe the Sabbath, you know, um, and still not perfectly like I would like, um, because I realize that a lot of the things about the Sabbath is not the original. It's not the original way, even for a lot of the people who you would think that they would know better, like the uh, Igbo, if I'm saying their name correctly, and the Ethiopians. You know, you would think that theirs will be, but no, I believe that it all got corrupted, and I think certain things is the way, but you know what? It doesn't matter if you focus on love. If you focus on doing that, everything, because God is love. So focusing on love is focusing on God, okay? Because that's who you are. That's really who you are. So if you can focus on that, then all things will be added onto you. All things. All these things, like it says in the Bible: food, health, water, you know, all the things that you need will be added onto you. It will. Because God knows all your needs and wants, and it will be added onto you. Okay? If you pull nigh to Him, if you pull too close to God, to the one most high, which is love. Once you come into love, you will know oneness. I think I talked before about um, when I used to meditate a lot. I meditate. I do my best to meditate in the morning. Um, but like days when I have to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning, I really don't have time to meditate. And I don't, because if I actually try to meditate, I will nod off. And so that early in the morning, so I don't do that. So uh, all the other times, yeah, early in the morning, meditation before I go to bed, meditation. And sometimes I don't even get to meditate at night what because I usually fall asleep because I meditate in bed. I probably have to change that. Um, anyway, so all right, so I can get some air. So we have to focus on love. So as I was saying, when I used to meditate a lot, um, I I had one meditation where I was meditating. Okay, let me focus here. I was meditating. There's things going on around me, so like it's distracted me a little bit. Talking about distractions, and I was meditating, and my meditation was so good, so good, and I I was getting out of the meditation. I was getting out, and I didn't want to have that feeling stop. So what I did was that I got up and I got out of it with my eyes still closed, still feeling that wonderful feeling. And I even stood up with my eyes closed. And then I remember turning around to where my friend was sitting and turning towards looking outside. And I slowly just started open my eyes, and oh my gosh, the most amazing feeling of oneness came over me. It was totally, I would never ever forget that feeling. It was like I was one with everything. The bird, the walls, nothing was separated. Nothing, absolutely nothing was separated. I felt the walls. Seriously. The walls are alive. Everything is alive. Everything is one. But everything is just resonating on a different frequency. But everything is alive because God is alive, and everything that is here is made from God, made of God, made for. So when people are saying that we live in a hologram or whatever the case might be, it's all God. Everything is God. And it's all alive. Um, so, okay. I'm trying to keep my head, so. And ever since I had that experience, nothing, no one can tell me that we're not all one. So it's kind of like, when you get a hold of that, it's like, why are we fighting? We're fighting ourselves. We're fighting over nothing. However, that's the idea, is for you to be able to get to that point. But it is so hard to do that when you're so busy and your mind is so occupied on things, and you're full with anger, fear, hate, being judgmental. It's so hard. But if you can dive in the Bible and just read that, just read, soak in the word, soak in as much as you can about health, about wealth, not wealth, but health, about love. So be very picky about what you're watching. Turn away from like all this stuff about war, what's going on in our society. I'm not saying that you can't watch a little bit of it, but you really should minimize what you watch as little as possible. You may want to say just do an hour. That's how much you really have to do. And then that's it. The rest of it you focus on good. Because when you focus on wonderful and love, now you're feeding your cells, your organs, everything about love. But when you're feeding it stuff that are anger, stuff that are corrupt, stuff that are, things like that, then your body will start to resonate on that level. Even though you are a nice person and you really mean well. But what you're feeding yourself is, I can't explain it. I've done it. During the 2020, I started to focus so much, and I got caught up in all the crap. I felt my frequency falling. And I knew that I had to get back to being spiritual, and I had to stop watching all that stuff. Okay. Anyway, guys, it's getting late. I gotta go. So I hope this helps someone. I hope that this really really sinks in, and to know. And there's much more that can be said, but it's not gonna. I can't do that in a half an hour. But I'm gonna have to chip at it little by little in a lot of my other videos and talk about it. And just keep on planting the seed till a lot of people get a hold of this. And that's why I'm saying, if you share, just share it. If you feel that this makes sense, Anyway, I thank you so much. Love and peace to you all. Have a wonderful day. And don't forget that if your day in any way turned out to be not so good, you can change it. Just start over by changing your attitude, by changing the way that you think, by the way that you feel. Just change it. Don't let anyone control your emotion, okay? Because that's yours. That's you. And if you're allowing somebody else to control your emotions, your feeling, that they are the one that's in control, not you. All right, and that thought, have a good day.